Here we've got a video interview of Robert Kiyosaki from some clown, Australian guy. You can see Robert Kiyosaki exposes the true controllers of the world. Folks, clickbait. He's not going to do that because he's not going to say that three-letter word. So let's listen here. I'm going to play a couple of excerpts.
That money would go crypto. So that's why the reason I have, I think I have 70 Bitcoin. I don't know how many I got.
But crypto is good. I'm talking about when banks won't let you deal in cash.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is
We should go crypto.
I'm getting off the banking system. So I own a lot of gold and silver, things like that. So I don't want anything they can print. So I own stocks, but in my company, I took them public.
Wait a second. So he doesn't want anything they can print. He doesn't want any money. And now he's telling you a new false claim by career con man Robert Kiyosaki. He's telling you he owns stocks. Wait a second. You can print shares, right? Those of you who don't know, they used to actually issue stock certificates, printed stock certificates. But aside from that, doesn't matter. This guy's so stupid. Robert Kiyosaki is such a fucking idiot that he doesn't even understand that all these stocks, what do you think they're based on? He's talking about the U.S. stock market. Hey, dumbass con man, Robert Kiyosaki. Based on the U.S. dollar. It's based on the printing of money. All U.S. stocks are based on the value of the dollar. That's fact. This is how stupid the guy is. So, aside from this guy's stupidity, he's making up new lies. He owns stocks, but they're stocks of his own company. He's going to take them public. He caught himself in a bind, and he's trying to wiggle out of it, and it's not working. Because he's basically saying, well, but I own those stocks. They're mine. I control them, but I'm going to take them public. And so, not that even alters anything. And he's saying what are those companies, Robert? Folks, once again, I can tell you what's going on here. Robert Kiyosaki is a pathological, disgusting liar. He has built his career of scams on false perception and lies, false claims, distorted claims, mythology, conspiracies. He's reeled in a large pool of cult members because he has tapped in to several groups of low IQ, mentally ill, mentally disturbed people. For instance, groups like the cult members that listen to Alex Jones, the cult members that listen to Peter Schiff, the cult members that listen to Ed Griffith, and all these other people, anti-Fed, all this stuff. This is who he taps into. So it's a large pool, obviously, a large audience of people who are unsophisticated in general and unsophisticated investors. And they believe the nonsense. So Robert Kiyosaki now is telling you that he's taking his companies public. Let's listen to this again.
that money would go crypto. So that's why the reason I have, I think I have 70 Bitcoin. I don't know how many I got.
And by the way, Robert Kiyosaki, of course, was pumping Bitcoin right at the top before the collapse. This guy has a great track record of being a contrarian indicator. I've got his track record. I've studied it. I've documented it. If you want to listen to this guy, do the opposite of what he says. Do the opposite of what he says. He's great at timing as a contrarian indicator. Robert Kiyosaki claims to, don't believe a word this guy says. He's a fraudster. Don't believe a single word until he's never proved anything. He claims that he retired because of all the money he made in real estate by the mid-90s. That's a lie. Show us the proof. In fact, another time he's actually mentioned that he made all his money in seminars. He retired in the 90s. Real estate seminars. So which was it, Robert? Right? It was neither. He's never retired. It's part of his folklore, urban myth bullshit. Oh, well, he's rich and he's retired. Just like Jim Rogers. Jim Rogers has never retired. This guy is making money, blabbering all his crap, spewing nonsense. He's been doing it now for 30 years. Spewing nonsense. And another contrarian indicator, do the opposite of what this guy says. You listen to these guys, you're going to lose your ass. You're going to miss out on great returns. These guys are con artists. You know the crew. I've exposed them all the big guys anyway. Been doing it for the better part of 20 years. Jim Rogers pumps gold, silver, bashes the U.S. dollar, U.S. stock market, pumps China. He pumps all the garbage, pumps Russia. You know why? So he can get paid to serve on the boards of shady companies located in Canada and Russia. That's right. That's how he makes his money. He makes his money getting board positions on bullshit, scammy companies. Look into it. I already have. And he also gets paid money going to these fringe conferences, hard assets, and all this other bullshit where they're pumping gold and conspiracies and penny stocks. It's all, these people are all a bunch of crooks as far as I'm concerned. A bunch of scumbags. So, Robert Kiyosaki, of course, he only jumps on the Bitcoin bandwagon after it's taken off. Robert Kiyosaki, write this down. I have evidence. Robert Kiyosaki was telling people to stay out of Bitcoin in 2019. Said it's going too high. It's already gone too high. And then he pumped it. He pumped it when? Late 2020 and 2021. And then it collapsed. I've got the evidence, folks. And ever since then, he's been a Bitcoin pumper. You know why? See, these guys don't pump anything. They don't promote anything that they can't make money off of. You see, you got to understand the mind of a con man, of a scam artist. You have to understand the mindset. They pump things, they make money. They're all salesmen. They're trying to deceive people, but to make money. That's what they do. And that's why none of them have ever and will ever confront me on a neutral platform. They all know who I am. They're afraid of me. They're afraid of the truth. These guys sequester people and feed them their bullshit and keep them in a network. That's why they all rub hands, hat tip, all right, to all the other con artists. They're all connected. They want to make sure that their cult members don't break through out of that web of deceit and run across people who are going to expose them, which it's very rare. There's not many people out there who expose these guys. I'm basically the only person in the world that's been doing it. So the last thing they want to do is mention my name. It's best to just ignore me. You see? Ignore me. Because they don't want attention. You say, let's think about what this guy Stathis is saying. But they shouldn't worry because their cult members are too stupid. 99% of them are too stupid to see what's going on. That's just the reality. It's a sad truth. Just go down the list, folks. Go down the list of mythology, false claims, ridiculous conspiracies, and you'll see what's going on. For instance, one of the big claims has been made ever since the financial crisis. When there's a crisis, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for scam artists to fleece people because the population is scared, confused, desperate, panicking. So, not long after the financial crisis, let's say by 2011, 2012, 2013, you had a couple of people out there, I'm not quite sure who started the nonsense, started saying college is a scam. It's not worth the money. And one of the first people that was involved in that was James Altucher. Complete con man. Crypto con man, penny stock con man, complete fraudster, scumbag. Of course, he's in the cabal, formerly with Jim Cramer's The Street. He's in the cabal. He's got the bloodline. And then you had, I'm not sure if Peter Schiff jumped on that bandwagon as well. Probably did. But you'll notice, I know Doug Casey did, and you'll notice these people, the vast majority of them who talk about college being a scam and not worth it, they have a college degree. They're hypocrites. Like, what are you talking about, right? So Patrick Bet-David's the more recent one. This guy, I don't even know if he graduated high school. He's so stupid. Another scam artist. And who else? Robert Kiyosaki, right? Robert Kiyosaki. Well, guess what? These are the guys that want to sell you books. James Altucher, right? Patrick Bet-David, Robert Kiyosaki. They want to convince you that college is not worth it, and they want to sell you books. Because see, they're the ones giving you education, how to be an entrepreneur. Forget the education. We can educate you. They don't say that directly, but that's the indirect message that they're giving you. Okay, it's pretty obvious. Anybody who says that college is a scam is an absolute fraudster and or idiot. Okay? Write that down. That's fact. Now, such a blanket statement like that is absolutely ridiculous. So I don't want to go off the topic too much. Let's go back and listen to this again. Robert Kiyosaki. Once again, he's telling us that he owns stocks in his own companies, and he's taking them public in the U.S. markets and the Canadian markets. And I'm going to explain what he's talking about.
Crypto is good. I'm talking about when banks won't let you deal in cash.
No, what I'm saying is
We should go crypto.
I'm getting off the banking system. So I own a lot of gold and silver, things like that. So I don't want anything they can print. So I own stocks, but at my company, I took them public. And my goal was to take companies public on New York, NASDAQ, and Toronto Stock Exchange. So I got New York, I got Toronto Stock Exchange. This summer I go public on NASDAQ.
Okay, you heard that lie. Robert, what are the companies? You notice he never tells you anything. He makes claims. He never tells you anything. It's pretty easy to tell us the companies, Robert. He's already claimed he's taken two public, his companies. What are they, Robert? Folks, let me explain to you how a fraudster or con man liar operates, the mentality. And they think that they're speaking the truth by stretching things to an insane level. I can almost guarantee you. I'm not going to say guarantee because I don't know. I don't have evidence. I can almost guarantee you, and I'm willing to bet. That's how confident I'm willing to bet 50 grand. What he's talking about is he has some type of a stake in some private company. So fucking what? How do I know this? Because I know how this con man operates. I know how he thinks. I know how he lies. He said the same thing 10 years ago about oil. Oh, I don't buy oil stocks. I buy the whole companies. I buy all companies. Of course, shortly after that, oil collapsed. Contrarian indicator. And what he was talking about back then, of course, he's never admitted this, but I know how it works. I mean, think about it. You think this guy could buy an oil company? I mean, come on. He bought these private deals, private placements in oil exploration. They sell them all over the place. They're inexpensive to get into. They're very, very risky. Especially, you can buy them easily if you're in Oklahoma or you're in Texas, especially Dallas and Houston, and that's what he's talking about. So from owning, and anybody can buy them. And so from that, he claims he owns oil wells. That's right. So I know this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, complete fraud. What he's saying is that he's taking companies. They're his companies. He's taking public. He's already listed two. One of the Toronto Stock Exchange and the New York Stock. Well, Robert, why don't you tell us the company names? See if they're really yours. You see, folks, this is what a fraudster this guy is. Complete con man. And by the way, he says he wants to get out of the dollar, get away from the banks, right? Anything they can print. Really? Well, wait a second. One of your recent lies, a new lie, is that you're $1.2 billion in debt. How are you out of the banking system? Folks, this guy is such a flip-flop lying con man. It's disgusting. And if you're not catching his inconsistencies and lies, I don't even follow the guy. I just run across. It's so easy to spot the fraud in this guy. Complete scam artist. Let me show you one more thing here. This guy's a disgusting fraud. So this segment is called Taking on the Establishment. You can see here. And of course, once again, he never names who the true controllers of the world are, because can't say that. He knows. Who do you think his business partners are, folks? I've already talked about this. Some of you may have read about it and heard it when I published it. Robert Kiyosaki is protected by the media mafia. He's protected. That's why the media never exposes him. Same thing with Tony Robbins. Why is he protected? Because he spends a lot of money on ads. He's protected. Media's not going to expose him as the scam artist that he is, because if they do, Robert's going to get upset. He's not going to spend as much money with the media, and those ads aren't going to be as valuable, right, to the media. You see, if Robert Kiyosaki is exposed for the con man, scam artist that he is completely, then the media is not going to really get any more money from advertisements, are they? Because Robert's not going to have the cash flow. He's not going to have enough suckers that are being manipulated and extorted and fooled and scammed into giving him and his scaminar buddies their credit card to charge them $45,000 for his education. That's right. You see? So let's listen now. So he's not going to talk about who controls the world, because he doesn't want to bite the hand that helps feed him. You see, he's working with that whole cabal. Take a look at his former business partner who sued him, who wrote all his books, ghostwritten, of course. He never told people that, which makes him a fraud. He's got his name on all these stupid books, these useless garbage books that provide bad advice, just basic common sense that anybody would know, and also just stupid nonsense, just completely useless, and even illegal advice. That's right. So take a look at, I forgot her name, Lecter, I think it is, but let's see if Robert's going to expose these. Just listen carefully to this conversation.
Which is good.
He goes there because Big Pharma is extraordinarily strong in terms of lobby, and can create all sorts of havoc for an individual. Are they going to run him down, start campaigns against him? Have they started something against Kennedy? Start to attack his character?
My concern, as Stalin said years ago, he says, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. And so that's why election was stolen, I think it was. But America has a bad habit of taking out the Kennedys with guns.
So here, you notice he throws in the whole election stolen from Trump conspiracy. Why? Because that's his audience, folks. You understand. His audience are conspiracy crackpots. Okay? Conspiracy crackpots. And, same with the whole COVID thing, exaggerated nonsense, crazy stuff. That's who buys into this guy's disinformation. And I think he was talking about before, I didn't hear, but I guess, JFK talked about the vaccines, and so he's talking about how powerful the pharma industry is, and he's implying that they're going to kill him because he's talking about it. And
well, I'm afraid
quite a few of them have gone down with being killed.
John and Bobby. So America's they're messing with power, and the banking powers, the cartels. The Federal Reserve Bank is not an American bank. It's a cartel of the richest banks in the world. And you know that running a mortgage company. You don't play their game, they stomp on you.
Is this exposing the true controllers? He's not saying the banks control. But notice, it's not who runs the banks. Who runs the Fed? Who are these people? What are their names? What is their bloodline? Do they have a common bloodline? You understand what I'm saying, folks? Who runs all these banks, right? Who are the big executives at Goldman Sachs and have been for decades, right? How about JP Morgan? Who are they? What's their bloodline, right? Take a close look. That's who runs everything, okay? And he won't say it. Would you believe a guy? Would you trust a guy who won't tell you the full truth and nothing but the full truth? If someone's telling you 99% truth, as far as I'm concerned, they're a liar. That's what the best con artists do. They give you a lot of truth, right? They give you a lot of truth to serve as a gatekeeper, to lead you down the path, and you believe them. And then they feed you a bunch of bullshit. You understand? So many gatekeepers out there. You got, Alex Jones tells you a little truth, spins things, and goes down another pathway. I'm not going to even get into that fraudster. Let's continue now. He's talking about the banksters.
So that's my concern. Money is power, like it or not.
Yeah. So what do we do as a voter, as a small? Well, we would all consider ourselves as just one vote out of many millions, and in the case of US, hundreds of millions. What do we do about that? I mean, how do we get fairness and justice, or do we just cop it on the chin?
Well, everybody has their own idea how to do this. My idea way back when was educate yourself. So I created the cash flow board game because I learned.
Can you believe this shit? This guy is a master of spinning everything to his books and his board games and his financial education seminars. So the guy's asking, okay, what do we do? Worried about, he talks about the banks, they got a lot of power, and then the guy asks him, well, what do we do? We're small, we vote. How is that going to help us? What do we do as people? How do we address the problem? And then he throws in, well, that's how you educate yourself. Financial education. I mean, can you believe this con man? What a total fraud. What a scam artist. I mean, listen to this horse shit again.
Just one vote out of many millions, and in the case of US, hundreds of millions. What do we do about that? I mean, how do we get fairness and justice, or do we
buy my board game, attend one of my seminars,
we just cop it on the chin,
buy my books?
Well, everybody has their own idea how to do this. My idea way back when was educate yourself. So I created the cash flow board game because I learned.
Let me tell you something, folks. With rare exception, really, really rare exception, unless you're a spectacularly brilliant genius, and I'm talking, 1 in a million. 1 in a million. You're not going to be able to educate yourself to the level that's going to provide you with some type of a competitive edge in the world. In other words, you're not going to be able to educate yourself sufficiently to compete in this world, to get a job, to get a good job. It's not going to happen. Okay? But you see, this is his whole ploy. This is why Robert Kiyosaki tells you that college is a scam, teachers are fake, and all this other nonsense. The dollar is fake. He tells you all this stuff because he wants to lure you in. If you're convinced, if you believe it, he's going to educate you. He's going to help you educate yourself. You're going to educate yourself by reading his books, buying his board games, attending his seminars. You understand? What a disgusting... And all you parents out there, you're a disgusting failure. You're failing your kids. So many kids out there become scam artists now because they listen to this guy's bullshit. And you all let it happen. And the reason why is because many of you parents are too fucking stupid that you fell for Robert Kiyosaki. And you fucked up the future generations of your family.
Learned investing playing Monopoly. And Maria Montessori, she's one of the great educational entrepreneurs. She said, what the hand does, the mind remembers. So in school, I sat there, words went in one ear, out the other, just sat nothing. And that was my poor dad, lecture, talk.
Here he goes now
Where's
with the
my-
whole Poor Dad. Folks, in case you don't know, the whole Rich Dad, Poor Dad's fiction. It's a fictional book. It's a fictional book. That's a guarantee. I'm willing to bet on that $100,000. Hey, tell Robert. Let's go, Robert. He'll make up some excuse. Well, I don't have time for that. I'm a wealthy guy. I'm a billionaire. No, you're not a billionaire. You're as much of a billionaire as Grant Cardone. Neither of you are billionaires, but you're both scam artists. Any amount of money you want, Robert, let's bet. You're a liar. You're a fraud. Your whole career as a con man and scam artist is built upon a mountain of lies.
Rich Dad taught me about investing, playing Monopoly. 4 greenhouses, Red Hotel, 4 green. So today I own 10,000 rental units and 3 hotels. I also invest in Bitcoin. I use debt and I use all that. Everything's.
So you heard him. Write that down. 3 hotels, 10,000 apartment units, right? Write that down because the story's going to change. It's going to keep changing over time. Because see, Robert doesn't have. He's a decent liar, but considering how long he's been doing it, and that it's basically his whole spiel, he's not really a good liar. You see. Remember, he wants to get out of the banking system, stay away from anything that's printed money, right? But he's in debt, supposedly. Write it down. Guaranteed, I'm willing to bet Robert Kiyosaki, any amount of money that he wants, he's not $1.2 billion in debt. It's another fucking lie. He's a fraudster. Okay, he didn't say that in this interview, at least not yet. Maybe he will later on. I'm not going to listen to it, but it's a recent article. You can look it up. It's the recent thing going on now. Oh, I'm $1.2 billion in debt. I don't care if I can't pay. It's my problem. It's the bank's problem. And then, of course, what he does there. First of all, he's not $1.2 billion in debt. You got to have a lot of collateral. Okay, a lot of collateral. He doesn't have the collateral. He's a liar. He's constantly claiming he has this and has this. Why? Because it's part of the whole illusion that he's got money and he's successful. I'm going to buy his books because he knows what he's talking about. Robert Kiyosaki is an investment loser, a fraud, and a scam artist. Write that down. He has never proven anything, as far as I know, and I've looked, he hasn't proven any of his claims, ever. Don't believe anything that comes out of this liar's mouth. He lies about everything. He thinks it's okay to lie. He's a fraud. Complete fraud. Kiyosaki is also pushing this whole, I'm $1.2 billion in debt. You know why, folks? You know why? Because part of that, once again, is he explains himself, debt's great. He pushes debt. And you know why he pushes debt? You should use debt to make money. He's doing that, folks, to get you ready, to prepare you to increase your credit limit on your credit card. So when you go into his scaminars, you don't mind. It's going to be okay. You think, well, I'm spending $45,000 for 3 days for mentoring because he's told you got to use debt to make money. You see the manipulation of this guy? That's right. That's what he's doing. Okay? And he's also doing this because he wants to explain away his 3 bankruptcies. Oh, well, I filed for bankruptcy. It didn't hurt me. You see, that's what he's doing. And, it's kind of funny, though, how I guess, although he's not using, he's obviously doing what Trump was claiming for years. And I knew this for a fact. I knew it was so obvious. Trump, I'm worth billions and billions and billions. I knew this. Someone who's going out of their way to tell you how much money they have ain't got that money. They're doing it for another reason. And we know now Trump was doing it, inflating his net worth to get loans, which enabled him to make money. Robert Kiyosaki probably is not getting loans, or he's not claiming the net worth that it would take to get $1.2 billion in debt, because I don't think he has any way to even try and fool people. Can't fool people. Trump's got a lot of complex things going on, and he's got a lot of ways to do it. Kiyosaki doesn't. However, and you saw what happened to Trump. He's in big trouble. But wait a second here. Kiyosaki is inflating his investment claims, his debt, all these things in order to make money from the public, not from the banks. This is fraud. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, you need to get involved. People, contact the Federal Trade Commission. Give him a phone call. This guy's a fraud. He needs to be taken down by the FTC. He needs to be sharing a jail cell with Kevin Trudeau.
That's part of the process. Is there one person sitting right? I mean, not one person, but is there a group of people sitting there planning all this sort of stuff? Because I can't imagine. I can't understand why no one's ever talked about them. Who are they? I mean, who's the people who are?
So here we go. Here's the crux of the interview here. Robert Kiyosaki exposes the true controllers of the world. He's asking him, who are these people?
Getting rid of the cash out of the system. Is there one person, or who's all our privacy?
Correct.
That's part of the process. Is there one person sitting right? I mean, not one person, but is there a group of people sitting there planning all this sort of stuff? Because I can't imagine. I can't understand why no one's ever talked about them. Who are they? I mean, who's the people who are getting rid of the cash out of the system? Is there one person, or is it a group of people? Is there some sort of cult? How does this operate?
Well, I think it was inevitable it was going to happen, that money would go crypto. So that's why the reason I have, I think I have 70 Bitcoin. I don't know how many I got.
But crypto's good. I'm talking about.
You hear that? He doesn't even answer the question. Anyway, I don't have any more patience or time to deal with this fraudster, Robert Kiyosaki. What a scumbag. What a loser. If you fall for this guy, you fell for him. I mean, God help you. Really, God help you. terms of getting back as an investor, if it's coming down to here, almost irrespective of what's going on, I have to believe, if I have to make a call in advance, and of course I can change depending on what happens, but I have to believe this is where you want to start doing that 18, 17, around there. Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.